Hey, I'm Teddy Atlas here with Teddy Atlas. Teddy Atlas, yeah.
Hey, bud.
Teddy and Teddy, the fight with the two Teddys. And as promised, my son, because of my son, not me, but he said we would bring you more content, that there should be no empty days in a week. We do live streaming for the fights that make sense to do live streaming. And we'll do other things that will pique your interest, hopefully. And if you like it and you show us that you like it by obviously visiting the show, visiting the website, putting down a comment, subscribing. If you do that, we're gonna keep doing it. We're gonna do, and we're gonna do more. We're gonna do more and more and more. And one of the things that we're gonna do is do lists. To historic list in this great historic sport, the sport that has more history than any other sport. Whether it's the greatest fighters from different countries, nationalities, or from different weight classes. We already did the greatest fighters of all time in any weight class. We also did the greatest heavyweights of all time. So we're gonna continue down that path today. And because of my son, as promised, we're going to bring you another boxing list. And this is going to be the list of greatest middleweights. And I think the great thing about that, and the reason we chose that I think the thing that makes that the most interesting, hopefully to you guys, is that the middleweights always has been one of the great divisions. I mean, you got the heavyweights, right? And then I think maybe the most popular division after that would be the middleweights, welterweights. But the reason for it is, I think, two or threefold. Number one, you've had some great fighters. I mean, you've just had some great fighters in that weight class. And the other reason is that you have to balance power, strategy, technique, sophistication, all of those things. You have to balance. Sometimes in the heavyweights, the physical force, the physical power, the George Foreman-like size and punching ability, can make up for maybe some other shortcomings or some other areas. In the middleweights, you have the best of both worlds. You have a balance of power and technique. You can't really dominate like you could maybe in the heavyweights, or kind of hide your technical weaknesses. You can't do that, or shortcomings, in the middleweights, because there's power and the need to be smart, the need to be technically buttoned up, the need to be dimensional, to be solid in all areas. And I think that's one of the reasons why people are really so in love with the middleweights throughout the history of this sport, that they love that combination of danger and at the same time you can see the sweet science. So I hope the fans agree with that. I hope they feel the same way about that. I hope this is the one you want. And without further ado, I'm going to bring you my top 10. And I'm going to do it the way I do it, because it's my list. And there's always guys that as much as I like doing this for you guys, it's a difficult thing for me to do it for you guys. Because with the fun, there's pain. And the pain for me is not just going through the time of trying to make this list really right and going through all the work I have to go. That's not the pain. It's enjoyable to do something you like doing and you've been doing your whole life. But what is the pain is leaving guys off that deserve to be on, but you can only have 10. And that really hurts me. It's hard to leave these guys off. And look, I try to mix in the modern day fighters and do a little, but without compromising. Without compromising the one thing I can't compromise. You have to deserve being on this list. So I'll start with the 5 real quick guys that I had to keep off my list that killed me to keep off. And that would be Tony Zale, the man of steel. That would be Bob Fitzsimmons, the first man in the history of this sport to win 3 different divisions and to win the middleweight, then go up to heavyweight, then go back to light heavyweight to win those titles. And one of the great punches, devastating punches in the sport, Roy Jones, one of the most athletic middleweights. He fought at different weight classes, light heavyweight. Even went up for a minute to win the heavyweight title against John Ruiz, which was extraordinary that he could go up in weight and then come back down. Very athletic, good puncher, good speed, great timing, great reflexes. I mean, he was almost, for a little while there, he was a miniature version or a smaller version of Ali, where he could do things wrong, break the rule book for boxing, like pulling back, dropping your hands, all that stuff, but get away with it, make it right. Not too many people have the talent, the timing, the reflexes, the confidence to do that. Another one that I had to leave off, again, it's tough. Triple G. I love Triple G. Golovkin, but not everyone could get on the list. Boy, oh boy, maybe I should do 2 lists. And then another one that I left off, Jack Non-Parallel. Not Jack Dempsey, Jack Non-Parallel Dempsey. He was a middleweight, obviously. So I will go to number 10. Number 10. Hey, give this guy credit for the human being he became. You know, he not only became a champion fighter, he became a champion person. He had been incarcerated earlier in his life, made mistakes like we all do, paid his debt to society, went to prison, came out, learned how to box in prison, came out, determined, had a goal, determined to become world champion, determined to change his life, determined to have a great life by being a champion and by being a different person, the person that he always felt that he could be, Bernard Hopkins. I mean, first of all, he's a guy that you'd be proud to know as a human being now. He's a guy who lives a good life. He's a guy who has a family. And he's a guy who was a great middleweight. Great 55, 8-2, 32 knockouts. Terrific boxer. Really practiced the sweet science. Not a big puncher, but an accurate puncher. Could counter, could mix it up. To fight in all dimensions. You know, and to come from where he came from. I had to kind of put that into consideration. To come from where he came from, you know, not starting with a silver spoon, not starting in the, you know, having an Olympic program, not starting when he's 9 years old, 10 years old, you know, in a gym with a father taking him to the gym or an uncle taking him to the gym or a coach taking him to the gym and being brought up in that kind of way, in a more traditional way. No, doing it the way he did it. Bernard Hopkins. Number 9. Well, there was a movie made about him. You know, you got to be pretty damn good. And, well, you got to be pretty damn good. And you have to have beaten some damn good fighters to have a movie made about you. And to have Robert De Niro actually star in that movie. And to have that movie actually become a great movie. He's underrated. Jake LaMotta. The Bull. The Raging Bull. Jake first fighter to beat Sugar Ray Robinson. 83, 19-4, 30 knockouts. This guy is just a better fighter than he ever got credit for. I mean, he lost 4 times to Robinson, or maybe it was 5, but they were all close except for one, where he had to lose a lot of weight. A ridiculous, probably about 20 pounds in a day or 2 days, where he was weakened. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre, they called it. But he still didn't go down, like in the movie. Didn't put me down, Jay. Didn't put me down, Ray. Didn't put me down, Ray.
You never got me down, Ray.
Never went down, Ray.
Well, never went down, Ray. No, Jake LaMotta, he had a good jab, not a huge puncher, good body puncher, obviously aggressive, much smarter than he got credit for, got low, he crouched, he moved his head, avoided big shots. Great, great, great chin. He, what people don't know about him is he went through a part where he was not able to get fights. He was blackballed. He was not able to get fights for a little while there, but he had to keep fighting. He had to. He couldn't get the fights he wanted, to move towards the title and to get to where he wanted. But he had to keep fighting. So what did he do? He went and fought light heavyweights, really good, solid fighters that a lot of people avoided. They just avoided them because they were dangerous and they were good fighters. And they didn't have to fight those guys and take that risk to get to where they wanted to get to. But if you wanted to become a better fighter, then you might have thought you had to fight them. Kind of like Marvin Hagler, what he did. He fought fighters that a lot of guys wouldn't have fought just because he wanted to test himself. He wanted to become the best he could become. And he thought he had to fight those kind of guys to do that. Well, LaMotta was the same way. But he was fighting light heavyweights and beating them, knocking out some of them during this period before he was able to get into the position he wanted to get, just to make sure that he continued to improve, he continued to develop, and that the best could be brought out of him. Jake LaMotta, an underrated fighter, a terrific fighter. Freddie Steele, number 8, 125 wins, 5 losses, 11 draws, 58 knockouts. I mean, during one of the great eras that will never exist again in boxing, where the best fought the best, and there was a lot of best. There was just a lot of best out there because everybody learned how to fight because they all fought each other. They all fought regular. They all fought so regular that it improved them. Where today they don't fight so regular, where you don't know how good some of these guys would be if maybe they fought a little more regular, and a little bit better fighters on their way up. Their talent might have been forged at a higher level. And the guys in this era, their talent was forged at the highest level possible because of the experience they got fighting so many good fighters. Freddie Steele, number 8. Number 7, one of the mysteries in boxing. One of the real legendary, mysterious names where it's a shame if you don't know about him, but a lot of people don't know about him. The great Charley Burley. He beat the great Archie Moore. I mean, there's talk that Sugar Ray Robinson refused to fight him. I mean, look, 83, 12, and 2 was his record. 83 wins, 12 losses, 2 draws, 50 knockouts. He beat Archie Moore. That should be enough. Charley Burley, again, mysterious because he didn't get the opportunity to fight for the world title, to become a world champion. A lot of people don't know because of that how great he was. And not only how great he was, how feared he was, how legendary he was, how known he was in the boxing industry by the best fighters. You didn't want Charley Burley. You didn't want Charley Burley. No. Number 6. That's why this list is so tough. I mean, this guy could be number 5, 4, 3, 2. I mean, Tiger Flowers, again, from that era. 117 wins, 16 losses, 8 draws, 54 knockouts. What a great fighter. What a great, great fighter during a great era. Beating nothing and fighting nothing but great fighters. Number 5, Mickey Walker, the toy bulldog. 93 wins, 19 losses, 4 draws, 59 knockouts. Wow. You want TV friendly? You want exciting? Okay, you want Mickey Walker. You want tough? You want Mickey Walker. You want a guy who finds a way to beat all styles, to get inside, to make it his geography in the ring, to make it his kind of fight. You want Mickey Walker. You want a guy to go down a dark alley with? You might want Mickey Walker too. Number 4, Stanley Ketchel. How great would he have been? He got killed at the age of 24. Shot. And he was already 52-4-4 with 48 knockouts. But can you imagine that? 24 years old, he was 52-4-4 with 48 knockouts, already beat great fighters, top fighters, fought nothing but great fighters.
Stanley Ketchel's recognized as one of the truly great fighters, regardless of weight. But this fight with Jack Johnson here today is the great moment in Stan Ketchel's life. If he wins, he'll be the first fighter in all history to hold both middleweight and heavyweight titles at the same time.
I mean, number 3, Carlos Monzon. What a 14 straight title defenses, 87-3-9, 87 wins, 3 losses, 9 draws, 59 knockouts. This is a guy that was tall, he was long, he could punch, he was tough, he had a great chin. I mean, look at his record. He knew how to control range. One of his greatest traits was he would get you to fight his fight. He would make you fight his fight. He wouldn't fight your fight. And he would make you have to somehow try to get to him. He could keep you at the end of his punches. Obviously, if it got into close quarters, he could do that. But for the most part, he made you fight his fight. And his fight was to win. And he won 87 times, 3 losses.
An incredible 14 title defenses, and we're talking about guys like Amo Griffin, Nino Benavuti, Jose Napoles. Just incredible.
No, you're so right, bud. You're so right. And talking about incredible, no better segue for that. The only difference is instead of incredible, you could have just said marvelous. Marvelous. One of my favorites of all time, human being and fighter. Nothing, what can you say? You don't have to say nothing but marvelous. Marvin Hagler, would you please step up into the position you deserve as the second greatest middleweight of all time? Marvin Hagler, take a bow. We love you. Great chin, southpaw, maybe the greatest southpaw. He could switch, but maybe the greatest southpaw, besides being one of the greatest middleweights, maybe the greatest southpaw of all time. He had a great chin. Oh my God. Mugabe knocked over freaking trees. He knocked trees over. I heard he did. I heard he knocked a few trees. I don't have video on it, but I heard that Mugabe knocked a few trees over with one punch. He couldn't knock over Marvin Hagler with 5 punches, 10 punches. It didn't matter. Marvin Hagler had that kind of constitution, that kind of toughness, came from the tough place. You know, Newark, New Jersey, then Brockton, Massachusetts, where Rocky Marciano came from also. What was in the water in that place? I mean, hard scrabble place. He came up the tough road. And he never forgot it. He came up the tough road. He didn't come up the road of, being an Olympian, getting paid early on in his career, getting hand-picked opponents and all that, being taken care of by a top promoter. He didn't. He had the Petronelli brothers. He stuck loyal to them from Philadelphia. He came up the tough road. He fought everybody. And it took him a while to get there. But he got there. And when he got there, he wasn't leaving. He wasn't leaving. It was too hard to get there. Took too long to get there. But by going the hard road, not the silver spoon, not the easier road where you're getting taken care of, like I said, by a promoter. by doing that, he was forged in a way when he got there, he wasn't going nowhere. He was that good. He was that solid. He could deal with any style. Any style. I mean, he could counterpunch. He could walk you down. He could go to the body. He could cut the ring down. He had power. He had technique. You know, he had good hand speed. And he had the biggest heart and the greatest chin that you're ever going to want to see. 62 wins, 3 losses, 2 draws, 52 knockouts. Marvelous Marvin Hagler. I remember a promoter telling me a story about him where the best middleweights at his time were out of the Philadelphia area. They had some really good middleweights. You know, Boogaloo Watts, Willie the Worm, just Benny Briscoe. They had all these tremendous, tremendous middleweights. And a lot of guys didn't want to fight them because they were tremendous. And Hagler was already at a point, he was starting to move, where he didn't really have to go that way, take that risk, because you could lose. You become a better fighter, maybe. Put it this way, you would find out how good you are. He insisted. He told the Petronellis, you take me there. I've been told that's where they are. That's where I have to go, because they're there. And the Petronellis were like, why? We can avoid that. Why do we want to go there? Because that's where I have to go to be great. Because they tell me the best over there, well, then I got to go over there and test myself with the best. They said, okay. A promoter actually said to them, are you guys nuts? Why are you bringing him over here to fight these guys time and time again when everyone else is taking another exit off the highway? They go right past this exit. Philadelphia is not on their point of destination. They just keep going. Why are you coming here? Because Marvin says we have to. What a great fighter. What a great man. Self-made man. Really. Like he said, I didn't get nothing handed to me. But I didn't need nothing handed to me because I knew where to go get it. I knew what to do to get it. Number 1. You got to yell when it's number 1. I'm sorry. Because number 1, you got to yell. Because he deserves, because he's number 1. And I can't see anyone else being number 1. As great as all these are. As great as all these are. I can't see nobody else. When you have an overall record of 261 wins, 18 losses, 19 draws, which he probably won most of those, and one no contest. When you're in an era where there's so many great fighters, all fight each other at different weights, at catch weights, you're moving up, fighting heavier guys, all of that. You were around when there were no decision fights, where there were newspaper decision fights, you know, in some areas where boxing was either not permitted or where gambling, they were worried about gambling in certain areas where maybe some funny business could go on with the bookmakers, with the gamblers, so they didn't allow a decision, so the newspapers would decide the newspaper writers would write up the article and decide who won the fight. But at the end of the day, the accumulation of his overall record, again, 261 wins, 18 losses, 19 draws, 1 no contest, and he's called the Pittsburgh Windmill. You're not called the Pittsburgh Windmill because you're a counterpuncher. You're not called the Pittsburgh Windmill because you're a dancer, because you're a mover, because you're a non-exciting fighter. You're called the Pittsburgh Windmill because you throw punches as though they're coming out of a windmill. They don't stop. And then when you add into this, that's not enough. 100 of these wins was with one eye. I'll say it again. 100 of these wins was, I'll say it one more time. 100 of these wins of the great Harry Greb. I said his name. I couldn't hold off. 100 of his wins was with one eye. Because he had a torn retina. They couldn't fix them in those days. They didn't know how to fix them properly. If they did, it didn't work all the time or didn't last. They obviously didn't have laser surgery. He had to go and learn how to cheat on the eye test. He had to memorize the eye test to make sure that he always passed where he could have his license. 100 of his wins with one eye. The great Pittsburgh Windmill. The great Harry Greb, who also died way too early in his life. The great, I have to say it again, the great Harry Greb. Everyone on this list is great. Everybody. And it was my privilege to put it together. I did the best job I could. I take it very seriously. As I said, I suffer making it where I have to leave some people off, like I already went over with the ones that could easily fit in here. Easily could fit in there. But it's not the greatest 15 or the greatest 20. It's the greatest 10. And this is what I came up with. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys like it. I hope it invokes conversation with us. Argument. Nice argument. Friendly argument. Like at the dinner table. Argue little things at the holidays. Where, no, I like the Yankees. I like the Mets. That kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I hope the viewers do as well. I will make an argument with you for Triple G. 42-2-1, the 2 losses, the 1 draw, Canelo Alvarez. The only blemish on his record to Canelo. I thought he won the first fight, probably the second fight, maybe the third would have never happened. If that played out that way, he would be undefeated. Would he then be in your top 10? I know it's hard to get guys out of there. I love Bernard Hopkins. But he has the record, 21 title defenses at middleweight. That's one. I'm a little more modern. That stands out. And then also I would say, as I listen to you, and I love these lists because getting familiar with these names and learning the history of some of these fighters. Tiger Flowers, you got him at number 6. Again, it's impossible to move these guys out. How do you bump Marvin Hagler down ever? But he beat Greb twice. And if you beat Greb twice and Greb's won, why isn't he higher? And then the last thing I just want to say is I think it's so important, these lists. Not only are we bringing these fighters to the limelight, giving them the attention they deserve for those fans that may not have heard of these guys before, but these guys paved the way for the current fighters to make the money. And not only did they pave the way that way, they risked it all, and they risked their life. And you said it. Greb passed away way too young. For those that don't know, he passed away in 1926. I believe he was 32 years old. He had over 10 fights in 1926. He went in for a nose surgery, was having respiratory breathing issues, and there was complications. He passed away that year. Tiger Flowers passed away 32 years old. He had 19 fights in 1927 alone. He goes in to remove scar tissue from his eyes, and unfortunately he suffered complications, and he passed away from the surgery at 32 years old. They were special men, and they paid the ultimate price. They deserve to be spoken about, and I hope the viewers enjoy it. I know I did. I know the time you put into it, bud, and I appreciate it. And everybody, let us know. Leave your comments. What list should we do next? Let us know your list. How do you rank these middleweights? But one of the reasons why we also did this list, and my father touched on at the opening, is we're listening to you guys. We saw a lot of the comments. They were asking for welterweights, for middleweights. So keep leaving the comments. Let us know, and we look forward to coming back and giving you more historic content.